so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you shut the fuck up real bad. Shut up.
Salute, heel. Welcome to the Heel of the Ring podcast with the host and one half of the tag team champions of the world, Heel. Salute.
Salute. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. We are the must-see show on the Jedi Sports Network by a mile. Like, forget that Knicks podcast. Forget the Yankees show or whatever. No, it's all about the show you will wait for. The show you just have no patience for. The Heel of the Ring podcast every Saturday and sometimes Sunday when I'm too busy. So welcome.
Bigger than Caputo?
Oh, yeah.
So what do you have in store for us, Heel?
Oh, we had definitely one. I don't even know what to give this week because the things that are big actually happened outside the ring. Then there are things in wrestling that, you know what, I'll just say we'll get into. So, let me get into the show. Let's talk about AEW Raw and SmackDown. So, I'll be honest with you. I only pay attention to the stuff that's actually worth my time. Just like you guys, if it ain't worth my time, why should I stay and watch? And when I saw Raw, there was really only one thing that I actually point to and be like, you know what? That was one of the best things on the show, and arguably the only thing good on the show that was actually building towards something special. And that was when Kevin Owens came out as Stone Cold Steve Austin. And let me tell you something. After 20 years or so, that music, as soon as the glass shatters, it still gets people. It is just amazing how much a wrestler can impact just a stadium by their music. Like, holy cow. And then when Kevin Owens came out, and it was funny too because I saw people in the crowd doing like this with their phones, reacting. You're like, oh my god, we're about to see Stone Cold. And then all of a sudden they saw Kevin Owens, they're like, I'm done. So, congratulations to Kevin Owens on being a really good heel this week.
No, he had the biggest pop just coming out, and also he had the he had the fake bald cap on, and he came out with the music, the whole promo, the whole cut. You know, what a pop. He really got the crowd enthusiastic. And also the beer guy. He actually played it. I don't know. Let me ask you, do you think he botched the beer throwing, or since he dropped it, he improvised and went with it?
Well, when you ain't no redneck and you're from Canada, of course you're going to have a hard time catching the beer, because obviously that's second nature when you're from the South and you're Stone Cold Steve Austin.
His title. Man, my title, man, it's kind of heavy.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough being the champ.
A lot of gold for a true champion, huh?
Yeah. So, I love the fact that he went on. He got the pop. I thought in one act that when the the music came, he got me personally the second time around when we heard the shattered glass. I thought he was actually gonna come out, and he caught me by a sucker. I was like, yo, he's actually here. Oh man, what a pop.
Man, seriously, and like when it happened, a part of me deep down, my inner like wrestling mark was like, there's no way, this has to be a rib. But then my inner like want, so to speak, it was just like, I want this to be so cold, I want this to be so cold. And then when it came out, I was like, I knew it. I don't even know why I bothered to get excited. Like I knew it was gonna happen.
He didn't fool you. He fooled me on the second time. I said, you know what, WrestleMania is coming. I said, you know what, it's gonna happen. He's coming out. And
Yeah.
Oof. What do you think? The match? Do you think it's gonna be a pretty long match, or you think he's gonna come out there token, run his mouth, and 1, 2, 3?
We'll get to the WrestleMania predictions after.
Okay.
We're gonna do that at the end of the show. But next we got AEW. And because I'll be honest with you, other than that, that's really all that happened on Raw. The main event was okay. But then we got AEW. And I'll be honest with you, okay? Because this is kind of how I found Impact Wrestling. Because when it's WrestleMania season, your wrestling blood is just boiling. It just wants more. You know, you can't stop. So you would think AEW would take advantage of the fact that it's Mania season. And they just seem like they don't care right now, at least on that week's show. And that's why, you know who makes the list is.
Chip, you know what? You just made the list. Oh, no. Oh, here we go.
That's right. The AEW writers and the bookers make the list because when Vicky Guerrero is arguably the highlight of her show, there's a problem. That's not to say that Vicky Guerrero is bad at what she does or anything like that, but it's just your AEW. You have Chris Jericho, like we'll talk about later. You have Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Sting. You have a lot of cool people on your roster, and not even the two really, but the most memorable, the two most memorable things you can do on AEW is Vicky Guerrero and MJF. I mean, we sort of got a problem because let's be honest, in Mania season, a lot of wrestling fans are now have their remotes and they're going through the TV and they're like, you know what? I'm not sure if my wrestling appetite has fully been fulfilled. I wonder what else is on TV. And that's how, ironically, I believe I found the Impact Wrestling back in the days. I just was flipping channels looking for more wrestling around WrestleMania season, and AEW just doesn't realize that right now, and that's why they make the list, because they just sold in their show, if you know what that means. And Chris Jericho, like, you really put him in the tag team match with people that no one knows about? Like, literally, who are these guys?
Hold on, heel. Hold on a second. Okay. Hold on. Oh, you know what this? You gotta know what this means. With that, I want to introduce NK into the program. So we wanted to take a pause.
Yeah, my apologies on everybody. My apologies for being late. Had to deal with some traffic, you know. When I got home, I had to deal with some technical difficulties. So sorry to everyone here and all the viewers at home. You know, it's completely nuts. So my apologies on that.
Well, NK, I think you made the heel of the ring.
Chip, you know what? You just made the list. Oh, no. Oh, here we go.
Technically, it's my second day. Can I at least be on probation for this? You know? Can I at least Can I at least be on probation? You know, like in school, and you get a warning, academic probation before you get expelled. You know, like, can you at least give me that? But yeah. So I guess what's on the list this week is AEW, correct?
AEW writers and bookers, yes, because Chris Jericho literally wrestled with people no one even knows, really. I mean,
oh god, that was terrible.
These guys might become big in the future, but
god.
No one knew who these guys were, and it was like Chris Jericho and like the Three Amigos, I guess.
Ugh.
Like literally. like when they first advertised this match, and they're like, "Oh, Chris Jericho is gonna be in the main event with da 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 da." I was like,
Yeah.
With the Dark
oh,
Order. Yeah.
yeah.
Let me interject on that. I was watching Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Club. Let me tell you, that group, that sucks. I'm gonna
The
tell you
name,
straightforward.
the
No,
name, the
I
name
like the
sucks.
Jericho Association Club. I get it. But the other members, the other three members besides Jack Hager, and I'm gonna quote The Rock. It doesn't matter what their names are because they suck.
Actually, you can put Jake Hager on that list too. To be honest with you,
I don't put Jake Hager there because he's ducking, and this is from he's ducking and diving, and he's scared of fighting our main man from MMA Weekly, Austin and Chef Dan, Billy Swanson, MMA Bellator fighter, heavyweight that called him out, and we've been campaigning for him to fight Hager. Hager's ducking my main man Billy Swanson in the octagon, and he's a coward. So now he's hiding behind another wrestling clique instead of getting in there in the octagon and facing my man Billy Swanson. So Billy Swanson can lay a beat down on his Jack Hager, but we'll leave that for the MMA program. But I don't like that Jericho Appreciation Group. Jericho is gonna, what is he doing? Carrying the weight now with 4 people? Oh goodness.
to be honest with you, let me piggyback on this for a second. I don't really care too much about what Jericho's storylines are going for these days in terms of like him being the stable of a group. I didn't really care for him being doing the whole inner circle thing 2 or 3 years ago, and I certainly don't really care about what he's doing here. I don't know. I get the whole idea of trying to piss the fans off by calling themselves sports entertainers. I get it, but at the same time, it's like Jericho Appreciation Society. It's just, that's like one of the most tackiest names ever. It's like, I don't know what's worse, either calling that name or Undisputed Era. And even that was a tacky name, this is definitely one of those things on AEW that I'm not necessarily fond with. And I get it. It's only been there for like a week or two, if not maybe a little bit more. But I don't know. At this point, with Jericho on AEW, I'm not necessarily that looking forward to what he's doing these days. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's like he's won the title. He's been a baby face. He did the heel stable thing. It's kind of like if he was gone for, let's say, a year or done something else, maybe go do some other things. I don't know. And I'm a big Jericho fan, but whatever he's doing in AEW isn't exactly that exciting for me these days,
Yeah.
Hugh, what's your thoughts of Jericho, Hugh?
Oh, that's what I was going to go into. Honestly, considering this guy is your first ever world champion, like, I don't really get what they're trying to do right now with Jericho. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit confused. But he should be doing a lot more bigger things than just being the guy that helps other people get over. Like, I get it. Yes, at the end of the day, he needs to help get people over, but you don't have to put him in, like, one big stable or tag team or whatever. He can be just doing what Punk's doing, which is, like, fighting young talent and helping them get over. That's literally it. But I just feel like they're really confusing what to do with Jericho at this point, if I'm being honest with you.
Right. The chat asked, "What's his bat's name?" I have no idea what his bat's name.
Sting? His bat?
The bat that he carries.
Is it called early retirement, my guy?
For now, I guess.
I'm not going to front. In my house here, in the Jedi house, there is 3 bottles of Jericho Bubbly, Lee Bubbly, for limited edition collector's item.
Damn.
Unopened. Ready, Wayne. When we see him, he's going to sign them, and we're going to have Lee Champagne, Jericho Champagne.
And I think maybe here's another thing about Jericho. Him being in AEW isn't really that interesting to me. Is that I feel like I don't know what characters Jericho going for these days. Like before, when he was, let's say, in WWE, it was a little bit more identifiable. Where, let's say, for example, like in 2008, when he was doing the whole like I'm wearing the suit and calling people parasites and stuff, and then before that, he was the Ayatollah of rock and roll, kind of this rock star, kind of exciting, kind of baby face sort of thing.
I figured it out.
Right.
I think I figured it out. He's going.
Okay.
His new gimmick is the cool grandpa.
Well, is his gimmick going through a midlife crisis at age 51?
It might be.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, we'll see what's in store for him and Floyd. Floyd is the name on his bat, by the way. I don't know why in the world they call it Floyd, but it is.
Okay, I guess. I guess.
Okay.
But I will say this about Jericho though. At least he's still having good matches though, so I can't really knock on his work, especially at this stage of his career. And at least he's still having some good matches. So I can't necessarily say he's having bad matches and stuff like that. So I gotta give him a credit on that, you know. And he's arguably, actually, he's probably like top 2, top 3, you know, big stars of that company, you know, aside from maybe Sting, you know. So I mean, hey, he is still valuable to that company. It's just whatever he's doing right now, whether it's whatever Tony Khan is booking him or this is his idea, it's not working, you know. It's not working for me.
Well, one thing that is working is that intro. He has the biggest pop in his introduction song in all of wrestling, in my opinion.
You mean Judas? I don't know. For some reason, I'm not too big on the whole Judas theme song.
Judas isn't your life?
Nah.
Come on, it has to be your life.
Nah.
You can't be a Jericho fan and not let Judas be your life.
Isn't it called Judas is in your mind, my guy?
Judas in your mind. Judas in your mind.
Yeah, it should be in your mind.
Nah, man, I'm not gonna betray people, my guy. I'm not Judas, you know. But no, I mean it's a good song and all, but it's a good song, but at the same time, I don't know. Like I've been so used to hearing Jericho coming out with the whole break it down, break the walls for so many years that, you know, I don't know. It's weird after a few years later, you know, I'm still not used to him coming out to like the whole Judas theme song. It is over. It's an over song and people like it. I don't know. It's okay, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it's great or anything, you know what I mean? But it definitely does get a big pop from the crowd.
All right, I agree to disagree. I love that song. You know, the whole, and I'm not an AEW fan, but that pop and that song, when the point of a theme song is to get the crowd pumping. When you hear the skull, the glass shattered, you hear the people go crazy. You hear when you hear the "Are you ready?" You know,
yeah,
or the bells. And when you hear Jericho's song and when they shut the music and the crowd, regardless, 15,000, 14,000, whatever the case is, stay singing all in chorusance and in the same time, the theme of the song, you know that you were put over. And that's exactly why I think that theme song to me is one of the most electrifying right now in all of professional sports and wrestling, at least.
It's arguable. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, is in terms of like AEW, since AEW, I guess their booking and their writing, is Jericho the only thing that's part of the list in terms of AEW, or is there other things as well?
It was really just the writers, pretty much, and
there's one move. I got the Jedi's list. I'm going to put this in my list, and then we'll bring in our guest for a moment here. Hold on a second. This is this week's You Just Made the List on the world's most botched brainbuster move. This is AEW at its best. This is why you made the list. The Heel of the Ring podcast. Watch this brainbuster. Watch this botch move. He didn't even touch him. That's why you just made the list. And look who's here.
Break the walls down! Ladies and gentlemen, My name is the Pope, Hulk Hogan. Oh yeah, brother. We're gonna pump up, baby. The breakdowns. Oh yeah, brother. Ah, yeah, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Ah, oh yeah, brother. The Macho Man is gonna get the elbow drop, and I'm gonna give you the big leg drop on it. Oh yeah, we're pumped up. WrestleMania's coming up, baby. Double header Saturday, Sunday. Oh yeah. Oh, are you ready? Are you ready for WrestleMania? Lesnar, Reigns, Shawn, Ronda, Rousey. We're ready for WrestleMania. Sports. Oh, March Madness. Oh, yeah. We're ready to get ready. Oh, yeah, brother.
Well, for starters, I don't know who's trying to get more over, you or your dog.
Yeah.
I was gonna also say, first off, great intro, but second, when did Hulk Hogan did an elbow drop?
Well, he could do it back in the day. He used to wrestle in Japan. He used to do elbow drops. Remember, you ever watched the movie No Hose Bar? Come on, man, he could do it. That guy's not that old. You know,
what's that smell?
If you watch the matches in Japan against all these got Great Muta, all these other guys, Andre the Giant even wrestled in Japan. So these guys actually can wrestle. Just Vince McMahon has his own. They like to do their own set. You know, their own moves.
He's winded. CPR. You okay?
So he had to do his own moves. So you know, they didn't really want him to use. Actually show he can wrestle, because I actually watched his matches in the 90s. He actually can wrestle, but they didn't want to show he can wrestle. So he always did the leg drop, clothesline, like Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior couldn't wrestle. He was just one-dimensional. But Hogan, I actually saw him. He could actually, but they didn't want to use him like that. But all around, like the big guys, Undertaker's probably the most balanced guy I've seen. Like athleticism, speed, jumps off the top rope. Not many big guys jump up the top rope. Kane is another one. Another guy. All
Big
these
Show.
guys,
You forget.
these big guys.
Undertaker, yeah.
Yeah, I
You
just
forget
want
about
to say
Big
before
Show.
I leave, rest in peace, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, the bad guy. I just want to say, rest in peace. I met him and DDP about 6 years ago. Have you ever seen the movie Resurrection of Jake the Snake? Really good movie.
Yeah, I saw that. It's an excellent documentary. Excellent film.
It was really sad what happened. I thought he changed his life, stopped the drinking, and then he had to get hip surgery. And then he had a complication with blood clots and a heart attack. I just want to say rest. And then, of course, Foo Fighters. I want to say rest in peace to Taylor Hawkins, too. That was sad. He just passed away at 50 years old, man. I saw Foo Fighters last year. So the Pope wants to say rest in peace and get ready for WrestleMania. Ah!
Bang,
Wow,
bang.
that you have more charisma than 90% of wrestling today.
Have any charisma? At least try to talk. Cut a promo like that Jericho. You were talking about Jericho. I think they set up that because he wants to get all the young guys over, because he's already a made guy. He's not in the greatest shape. Jericho. He can't do long matches, so he's doing announcing now. Just like a CM Punk, he can't wrestle. He don't have the same ethnic. He's not as in great shape like he was when he was younger. So they're not trying to overuse these guys. Like Big Show, Mark Henry, all these guys they bring in, they're not trying to overuse them. So that's why I think right now Jericho's going to put the young guys over. That's why he joined this group, because they're all young guys. So he wants to get their names out because they're not big names. So that's why I think he did that. He's trying to help the young guys. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, Jericho's doing whatever makes him money, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Speaking of the AEW, you saw there was sometimes they're chaotic. Like you said, the writers, we told them thumbs down. They make the list. They had that Texas Tornado 8-man tag match when they had Darby, Sting, the Hardy Boys, and it was just so chaotic and so discombobulated, and it's so forced. you know, it shows that they have so many wrestlers on the roster, and they're just throwing it against the wall, and we got to get everybody in, you know, and you know, sometimes less is more. Oh, look at the main valet in the building, the one and only Boomer in the building.
Please welcome Junkyard Dog Jr.
She's my manager.
This is the third British Bulldog in the house.
There you go.
Like the British Bulldog, yeah, with the Heart Foundation, the excellence of execution.
That's more charisma. That's more charisma than Bret Hart has ever had in his entire career.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Goldberg spared me, ended my career. I at a young age, and now I'm still collecting paychecks from WWE. Vince McMahon, man, he screwed me. I had to go to WCW and make more money. And now, what am I going to do now? I'm retired. I don't know what to do at home now. I'm bored every day. I need to go back. I need to get that WrestleMania paycheck. And that's what I think. That's why he's bringing back all these older guys. You notice that? Because that card is pretty weak. That's why you're going to bring Edge back. You're going to bring all these guys because their names. Ronda Rousey in, because no one's going to watch that. The ratings have been so big. The storylines are terrible. Unless you're a mark, nobody watches that no more. Okay.
Hey, my name's Hill, and I watch that. You don't have to. My name doesn't have to be marked.
It's not good anymore. I can't. I watch it because I'm at a board. I fast forward through it. It is pretty bad because I was used to talk to Vince Russo. You know, they used to write for WWF. So I have him on my Skype. I used to talk. I had his cell phone. I used to talk to him a lot. And he would agree. Their writing is terrible. They need new, better writers. They don't even know how to get talent. They develop talent. You notice all their guys are not. They don't know how to talk.
They can develop some talent. Like look at Roman, Seth.
I don't think they're gonna get to that level. It took them a couple years. You notice that after the Shield, it took them at least 5 years to get big.
Well, talent doesn't always just come out of the blue, you know?
I mean, to be fair, I think when it comes to building people, it takes time. You know what I mean? Even some of the biggest names in the industry, they didn't become stars overnight. Just to be fair.
But you notice these guys are not going to ever. I don't think you'll ever see The Rock, a Stone Cold, guys like that just had it. They look like stars. They look like Lesnar. That guy looks like a wrestler. He comes out, you know he's going to kick your ass. Other guys, you look at these small guys, they're not going to make you money and profits. Why do you think Vince McMahon just fires everyone? Because unless you're making him money, he don't care about you. You're gone. He'll get rid of you. He only brings guys back unless you're making that guy money. And if you look like a star, people will see that. You'll make money merchandise. There's so many guys that just very stale. They all look the same. That's all wrestlers that all look the same. They don't stand out. So many of them I watch. They just all look the same.
I agree to you there, but where WWE is excel and developing in a rapid pace is the women's. The women, they have come leaps and bounds from what the crap that we used to see. Tori Wilson, no disrespect, you know, always seeing Lita doing the same, Hurricanrana, you know, Trish Stratus, you know. Now you have good wrestlers from Rhea Ripley, from Liv Morgan. You have Sasha Banks. You have, you know, on and on. The women's, Charlotte Flair, so forth. They have come leaps and bounds from the old ladies that we used to have before. You know, before you used to get a Nia Jax would come in, and just because she was overgrown and big, she was so dominating. But no, Nia Jax had to learn how to wrestle. Oh, and she put it, not for nothing, she has become a really good wrestler.
Rock family, Rocky Johnson, they're all related. That just like the Usos related. That's
Samoan family.
And by the way, I like that mic. It's popping like the first WrestleMania. Yeah.
But out of all the women, that Charlotte is the most gifted. Like wrestle-wise, like she can talk. She has the whole round package. That Charlotte, I met her in person. That girl is like all around. She can do everything. Like she could be a heel, a baby face. She can cut the promo. She can do any move when she wants. She's gonna have to carry that match with Ronda Rousey because Ronda Rousey doesn't have the experience in a wrestling ring. She does UFC and all that, but in a long match, like a 10, 15-minute match, Charlotte is probably gonna have to carry that match.
Rousey's too rigid. She's too rigid. She doesn't cut a promo well, and she's too rigid, too stiff. What you guys thought?
I think the main issue with Rousey right now isn't really so much of her work. It's more so just her promos have been very dry.
Yeah.
You know, it's because I've seen Charlotte and Ronda actually had a great match a few years ago, right? But I think it's one of those things where it's like Ronda just came back. I think she's still kind of going through some ring rust in terms of like her promos, but you know, I think the match itself will be okay. I think it'll be fine, but I feel like the entire build has just been very, oh boy, very, very bad, honestly. And this is and the thing is, on paper, it feels like on paper, Charlotte versus Ronda is a WrestleMania kind of match. Problem is, the build is just very bad, and it's like Ronda coming out with the very dry promos, and you know, Charlotte is just kind of overexposed at this point. They're talented people, and I think they're gonna have a good match. But it's like, I think there's a real big consensus amongst the wrestling fans, whether it's you or everybody or us or everybody else who's watching this, can agree that this build has just been very, very, very poorly done. You know.
Yeah, well, it was last minute. They were trying to get fans, sell out the AT&T Stadium. That's why they want Edge and Styles, why they get Cody Rhodes. They're trying to get Hall of Famers. They had to get Stone Cold to come back. That shows you how desperate they are. They know that they're not selling out AT&T, so they're making Stone Cold come back after 20 years against Kevin Owens. And what is it going to be, a 5-minute match? You'll brawl outside, and then a couple punches and kicks, and he'll stun him and win because he's in his hometown of Texas. You really think they're going to make Stone Cold lose? Come on. We already know.
I think it's a big challenge for them right now, having them to sell out not one but 2 nights for WrestleMania this year. Especially in AT&T Stadium, which they did it a few years ago, but that was for 1 night, for 1 show. Now they're gonna do it for 2 nights, and I think, obviously they're trying to make more money off of it, and they're trying to bring as many people as they can, including they're bringing celebrities in this thing too. So they're trying to make it as big as they can, which I get it. It's WrestleMania. You're supposed to make it as big of a show you can possibly can. It's not a typical wrestling show. To them, this is like the Super Bowl. You're going to bring all the stars that are going to be on that show. Past, present, future, whatever. Celebrities, whatever the hell you need. So they're definitely going to go balls to the wall with that. Yeah. Most definitely.
I always like WrestleMania when they do that, fireworks and then the pyro. They do a great job of pyro and all the way they do the technology and all this with the screens and everything. They're great at all that, but that's about it. After that, who cares? And then maybe they put like a rock band or like a in the middle of football. Maybe they do something like that. You get casual fans that would watch.
Well, the one thing that always separates WWE from the other wrestling companies is just their overall presentation at big events like this. Because once I can only imagine how it's like in person. But once you even see it on TV, it's like everything else around you just get blocked out of your mind. You're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is about to happen.
Yeah, because I was going to go to MSG in 2004. I charged $800 on my dad's credit card, and then he had to call the credit card company. I wanted to go so bad, I just charged it. I wanted to go to WrestleMania MSG, but then I couldn't go because they called the credit card company because he didn't know I did that because I wanted to go so bad. I never been at WrestleMania. And I actually did. It was $800 for ringside seating in 2004. I wanted to go, but I tried. Yeah.
Caputo said he was in WrestleMania. We were in WrestleMania. Twice with our sons. I took my sons to see Shawn Michaels retired Ric Flair in Orlando. Wow. Yeah, we were there. We were at a couple of WrestleMania. Yeah, last WrestleMania. So we've been to WrestleManias. Not the good seats, but it is what it is. We're in the building. But
unless you're getting good seats, I'm not going because if you look at my YouTube, I went to NXT. I went to SummerSlam like 4 times because it was at SummerSlam every year. I met Sting. I met Shawn Michaels I met. I don't like Shawn Michaels. I met him, but I'm not crazy about him. So I met all of them, and then I went to SummerSlam. They had Raw, SmackDown. Yeah, I put on NXT on my thing. Asuka Black. I saw his entrance. So yeah, it was nice. Caputo doesn't have an app TV. He said earlier too. He don't have money. He don't spend any. I don't even think he has a bank account. So I gotta go right now to do laundry and go get something to eat because the Nets and Miami Heat. I want to finish beating their ass. Hulk Hogan, they're doing leg drops on them and elbows and everything right now. So they're kicking their butt, man. I don't know what's going on with the Heat. They had #1 defense, and they can't stop Durant. They can't stop Irving. Drummond is drumming on their head with these rebounds. They can't stop. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to be leaving, guys. Thank you for having me on. Enjoy the rest of your show, and maybe I'll come back.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, come on back. Come on back. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a mask. I want to get a mask like that. You don't need to wear a mask. That on the buses and trains, I could just wear that. I think I'm a nutcase. I'm from Mexico. Lucha Libre. Lucha.
Yeah, whatever happened to the Mucho Lucha guys? They're gone?
I used to like
Yeah,
Lucha.
they got released. Yeah.
I grew up with all the Lucha guys. Rey Mysterio, Eddie.
Oh yeah.
Uber Tucker, Ultimo Dragon, the Great Muda in the 90s. I miss those guys. My dad used to like it too, watching all the high-flying Mysterio, all those guys doing Hurricane Ranas and all this quick pace. It's not the same anymore. Like, you look at the town of Mexico, I watch some of the indie wrestling because I got the Cody. I watch indie wrestling, GCW, this game-changing extreme wrestling. I watch all this indie wrestling, and of course I go to India. I used to go to indie shows until the virus. I discovered MJF, because I know he was only 17 years old when I saw him. What a heel that guy! That guy will never break character, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, MGF. Trust me, we see the potential every day on not every day, but every Wednesday at least on AEW.
Yeah. I predicted he'll be a top guy because he's good at promos, but his wrestling. Me and my friend always said he's like a Paul Heyman. If he don't fix his wrestling skills, he'll just be like a Paul Heyman type. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I'll see you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. There you go. Bubba Ray. Devon Dudley.
Diva.
Get the tables!
Get the tables for Thanksgiving. No, I'm just kidding. That's a long
Wow.
ways away. That's a long ways away. Yeah.
That was fun.
So about SmackDown though. So SmackDown, I mean, for me personally, again, I had mixed feelings about the show, but obviously, I'm just gonna be real with you. Roman and Brock is arguably the best feud in wrestling right now. Cause when you look at Roman, you're just like, this guy has finally reached his peak. He's finally there. It's just a matter of can he sustain it. And Brock, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is his best work, arguably, of his career. Cause
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is arguably, and not even arguably, I'll just say it. This is going to be the best build feud going into WrestleMania, and it needs to be. That's super important. Where you're possibly going to be in the main event of night 2. So, what do you guys think of Roman and Brock and how they're building this feud?
I think the build is great overall. I know people are kind of sick and tired of seeing this match over and over again, which I understand, but I feel like this version of their feud going from SummerSlam last year to now has been excellent. And I think it's now because it has a different dynamic now with Roman is the heel, Brock is the baby face. And not just Brock just being a baby face, he's more jovial and more excited as a baby face. And he feels more rejuvenated and more excited to be there. He's happy to be there. It feels like he's actually having fun doing this stuff. And it shows, And Roman's at his peak. Brock, at this stage of his career is doing his best work. And I think the match is going to be pretty good, And I think the build has been pretty good too. It's been great. I do agree. It is the best feud going in wrestling. The only nitpick I have is that I still don't think it needs to be for the titles to be unified, but that's just a small nitpick. But other than that, I think the build overall been great.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with that feud, that build up. You know, every week, especially this Monday on Raw, they're gonna have the final tune-up, the Raw before the WrestleMania, to see what's next. One thing that is taking Brock's whole persona from just being he's a part-timer to really becoming a full-time entertaining wrestler. When that character and the way his character's developing and the storyline, whoever thought that Heyman was going to be the opposite side, going against Lesnar, being opposed with being, you know, the manager of Roman Reigns, and you're somehow you still think that there'll be another double cross with Heyman on Brock. I mean on Roman. We thought it was going to happen already, but they reversed it, double cross. But it just, can you pull yourself not to be surprised that Heyman will double cross Reigns and go back with Brock again, and you know, personally I think if Brock wins, or whoever wins the world title, I think they'll unify it, but then they'll split it. They'll again with they'll have their own, they'll split it again. Yeah,
they'll split it again within like maybe a few months or maybe a year down the road or something. It's like kind of wash, rinse, and repeat at this point, which is fine. I you know, I don't know if I said this on the last show, but I prefer, especially with them splitting the rosters and everything, I prefer they have two titles. You know, yes, I do understand that the title should be the most important thing, and you could still do that with two, but you know, that's kind of more of a different topic for a different time. But in terms of SmackDown, and I kind of have to go on a little bit of a rant on this, and it has to kind of do with WrestleMania. So coming out of this week's SmackDown, we found out that next week they're doing a WrestleMania quote-unquote edition of SmackDown, where they're doing the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and they're doing the Intercontinental title match on that show. And my biggest gripe is that you have WrestleMania being 2 nights, and you don't have a spot for the Intercontinental and United States title on the show, which, to be honest with you, that's just pathetic in my opinion, you know. And look, it's 2 nights, and I get not everybody needs to be on the card, you know, and I guess that was a big issue before, where it feels like everybody was on the card for the sake of being on the card. I get it, but to not have the Intercontinental champion and the United States champion not be on the WrestleMania card for either nights is completely pathetic in my opinion. You know, I'm not saying like the titles feel extremely buried, but it feels like super unimportant right now. You know, I'm glad that Ricochet is the champion. I'm glad Finn Balor is the champion. But to see them not be a part of WrestleMania is completely pathetic in my opinion. You know, they should be doing a much better job with those secondary titles, you know, in my opinion. Especially when you have 2 nights on WrestleMania, you can't find a spot for either of them. Even if they're maybe not defending the title per se, just the champions being at WrestleMania, you can't find a spot for either of them. To me, it's ridiculous in my opinion. You know.
There we go. And hello, this is Vince McMahon. Yeah, Miz, I need you to have one more IC title reign. Why? Oh, simple. You see, it's kind of like gone irrelevant again, and I need you to make it relevant again. You know, like you did with Danny Bryan back in the day. Can you do that for me one more time, big boy?
I don't even think the Miz needs to win the IC title again. I think it's just, I'd rather, if you're gonna, the reason why people don't care about those titles is because you're not making them want to care about those championships. You know, people were happy and excited to see Finn Balor and Ricochet win those titles, and I thought for them, well, for you weren't, but I was, you know, and I was like, you know, I thought Finn Balor and Damian Priest was going to be a WrestleMania match, because I'm like, it's for the US title. And I've always liked the mid-card titles, even when I was a kid, you know, like I've always, you know, liked watching those matches, you know, back in the day. And this is like my generation, seeing guys like Booker T and MVP holding that U.S. title, and Jericho and RVD holding that IC title and whatnot. Like I've always enjoyed.
What you're trying to say is you don't dig this, sucker.
I just yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Listen, with the Intercontinental title, I agree with you. That and the United States, but mostly the Intercontinental title should be and should have been. Be honest with you, that should have been the main event in the first night of WrestleMania, or the women's title. Either one will be a co-main event, in my opinion. You can't go wrong because the Intercontinental title is prestige. It's not a mid-level card neither. It's a prestige card, or going all the way back with the greatest, one of the greatest WrestleMania matches, in my opinion, my generation, or in more WrestleMania, which is going to be almost 40 WrestleManias, was Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the Intercontinental title. One of the greatest Intercontinental match, and that right there, you need performers, and that's right before, because the Macho Man was about to take the next leap into the World Heavyweight Champion and being the main guy in the WWE. And it all started. The same thing with Shawn Michaels before he did his reign as the heavyweight champion. Phenomenal ladder match with the late Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. The Intercontinental title always headlined and always was part of WrestleMania. You definitely need to continue that legacy and that prestige with that IC title in WrestleMania. And I'm actually surprised that they, you know, I'm glad that Ricochet won. That is Intercontinental champion, because Ricochet is a hardworking young man that fought in the Indies, up and down. He's been through a lot. He's also a local product from Orlando, Florida. Lives here. A young man who's just worked his rear end off to be where he's at in the WWE. Hardworking, a story that no one knows outside of the ring. What that young man has persevered and gone through, and to see him with that belt is phenomenal. I wish they would highlight it, or at least put him on the card, dark matches or something. Although the Intercontinental should not be on no dark matches. And also the United States. United States is another prestige title held in WCW days. It's more of a WCW belt, although you recognize it more as a WWE belt. But it's really it came transition over with the WCW. And that's another prestige belt. That's another prestige belt where a lot of good wrestlers held that belt for a long time. I think, and they needed to put that on WrestleMania, at least one night, that to defend it. I think it has more cachet than the tag team titles, in my opinion.
If I'm being honest though, this is nothing against Ricochet or Finn Balor, but this is both the fault goes both ways, okay? Because the writing, yes, I can admit, has been great at all for Finn Balor or Dolph Ziggler. Ricochet. But at the same time, you look at Finn Balor and Ricochet, and they both have that thing to them where they're phenomenal in the ring. Where it comes to just in ring, they are amazing. But they don't have that magic thing that really makes them stand out above everyone else. I know some people are going to argue the Demon and Finn Balor, but let's be honest, after the Demon, there's nothing else about Finn Balor that makes you go, oh my god, this guy's amazing. Ricochet, he's got the entrance, with the lights and whatever. Yeah, and after that, what else?
He is a good in-ring performer, though.
He is too. Like I said, if we're talking about just in ring, they're at least probably top 10 right now or so. But if we're going off of like charisma, personality, character, that's what they're missing. And don't get me wrong, like I said, it's also the WWE's fault for not putting the title on someone they really want to care about and build around with that title. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's like, put it this way. And again, he's one of my favorite wrestlers for a reason. Look at The Miz. They back when he did that SmackDown promo on Talking Smack, he ranted about not being able to be on SummerSlam. If I remember correctly, that was the show. And what did he do to make that IC title prestige? He went and he asked, I think it was who did he ask?
Was it Daniel Bryan?
No, it wasn't Daniel Bryan. He point is he asked someone backstage if he can have a segment on Talking Smack or something like that. And they said, sure, why not? And that moment happened. So, in other words, the one thing a lot of wrestlers these days don't understand from guys like The Miz and all that is like, no matter what you're given, make the best out of it. So if you're like Finn Balor, so what if you don't have the demon? If you're like Ricochet, so what if you have the lights? Make the best out of every situation that you're given. And even ask for opportunities to get it over if you truly care about not only your career, but care about getting the title over. Because making little moments into big moments like The Miz and all other wrestlers do, that's what separates you from like the main eventers and the big boys, so to speak.
And I can agree. I can agree on that. I think I agree in the sense what you said about the Miz, and I do agree that sure, Finn Balor and Ricochet are great in the ring, but they don't necessarily have much in terms of the personality and the in the mic skills department. I'd say more so with Ricochet than anything else because I think with Finn Balor, people still kind of gravitate towards him. You know what I mean? Even in his first main roster one, he was selling quite a bit of merch. He did have a fan base. Not saying he was on the level of a big name or anything, but the spot that he was in, mid to upper mid card level, he was still doing pretty well for himself. It's just that for me personally, it's like, sure, even if they were in this spot, they shouldn't be like off of WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like the
Yes.
whole point, you know what I mean? It's like if you're gonna say, okay, Ricochet is a mid card guy and he's only meant to just be the IC champion, great. There's no problem with it. But I just feel like you should always focus the IC title and the US title, you know, and put them on pay-per-views a lot more regularly, especially for a WrestleMania that's for 2 nights.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's Ricochet holding it or Finn Balor holding it or Damian Priest or whoever, it's one of those situations where it completely renders the title if it's not going to be on pay-per-views. I saw a statistic which is actually kind of alarming that the IC title hasn't been defended since last year's WrestleMania, which is completely nuts. And the US title hasn't been defended since Extreme Rules, and that was back in September, right? And it's like, and we just gone through Shinsuke Nakamura holding the belt for like 6 months and only defending it once. At least Ricochet is kind of defending the belt a lot more consistently, but it's like he should at least be on WrestleMania, or at least at the very least be on the card as IC champion. You know what I mean? Because even when they had the Money in the Bank ladder matches, they would have the IC and US champions be on the card. You know what I mean? So it's like, you should at least have your champions be on the card. If you can make a program for the women's tag team titles, which I feel is like more worthless than the IC and US titles, then you can make time for the US and IC titles, in my opinion.
Well, yes, we can not to the point of worthless. You can make that an opening contest or a dark match, an opening dark match. When you give free, you could provide a free match to young kids, subscribers that they want to promote and get over and say, hey, get join now. For first month is free, like they always do on the promos with WrestleMania. You give that women's tag team title match there. Or you could even do one of you could actually emphasize the Intercontinental title to a freebie, on the Peacock Network, free if you watch it free, or on NBC, whatever the case is, and just join now and make a real good match. And I personally think you get a win-win. You have these guys have the WrestleMania moment with defending their belts. And secondly, you also try to get new eyeballs and new subscribers, young, kids, maybe one night that, and maybe the other night the US title. You got 2 title matches on the pre-show, on the kickoff, and you win-win. I think that that would have been nice too. Hopefully maybe we're wrong. Maybe when we do look at the kickoff, they probably will be a last minute. Depends on what happens. Like you said, on Monday Night Raw.
I think, and I was discussing some people on Twitter about this too. It said that, and there is a chance that they might do Priest and Balor last minute. I can see that. But then again, this is also the same company that doesn't have a match for Sheamus and New Day, which is kind of crazy as well. But it is what it is, I suppose. I mean, we gotta wait and see, because they sometimes put matches last minute. You know what I mean? So you never really know how things go. But that was just kind of like my whole rant about this, because I always feel like your secondary titles should mean more. I'm not saying they have to be on the level of the main events. I'm just saying they have to feel important. And I feel like they're doing okay stuff with Priest when he was holding it, and when Lashley was holding it not too long ago. But I feel like the IC title hasn't really been relevant since like when Seth Rollins held it, or when The Miz held it like a few years ago.
Agreeable. I can see
Yeah.
a point. I can see a point.
You've had a couple of reigns here and there that were okay, but overall, it's like they should. This is one of the big criticisms I have with WWE, is because of that. So yeah.
So
All right.
before we get into Mania predictions, we got two things. One that, though they're both sad in some ways, but one of them is a little bit more, I guess you say, shining than the other one, I guess. So I guess we'll start with the really sad one we got this week. Triple H is officially retiring from in-ring competition due to something to do with his heart. And when I first heard that, I'll be honest with you, I was going on YouTube, and it said like 1 day ago or whatever, something like that. Like it was literally recently uploaded, and I was like, really? So I clicked on it, and Triple H was saying why he retired, and he was getting emotional about it, and I was like, wow. And I'll be honest with you, it kind of hit me right there that, you know what? It truly is the end of an era. Like obviously, Kev, your generation was probably like the Hogans and all that, and that generation is long gone. Our generation was the Jerichos, the Ortons, the Shawn Michaelses, and technically a little bit yours too, because Shawn Michaels also in the 90s. But some of us even started watching the 90s. But a lot of those guys, either way, they're starting to either get really old or they're starting to retire. And we got really few guys left that are from that new generation, so to speak. The guys from I like to call it the guys from Ohio Valley Wrestling, and Brock, Shelton, and so on and so forth.
I guess basically like that late Attitude Era, early Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, basically the 2000s.
We're getting old, buddy.
Yeah. You know when we're getting old, when it's like the only few people left is like Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton left in WWE, Edge. Who are doing Edge, who are on TV still. It's crazy, and they're gonna end up retiring soon too. But in terms of like Triple H, it sucks that he had to deal with the heart condition and whatnot since last year. And you know what? At the end of the day, your health comes first. And look, you have to prioritize that, But I will say this, though. At least he ended off on a high note in terms of his last match, his last match was against Randy Orton in the Saudi show in 2019. And his last WrestleMania match was against Batista. And at least you can say the last two matches he's had in his career was against two Evolution members, which is, I mean, you can't really complain about that. And if I have to be honest for a second, towards the end of his career, I wasn't really too excited for Triple H matches. As years went by, I would say like after, let's say, WrestleMania 32 onwards, like I wasn't really too excited for Triple H matches or whatnot. I would say 33, like after the Seth Rollins stuff. And I felt like his matches were very, 30 minutes of just same old crap or whatnot. But aside from that, he's definitely one of the top heels of maybe top 10, top 15 of all time. He's definitely one of the greats of this industry.
When it comes to wrestling, he's like top 15, arguably. Top.
Yeah, you can
make a case for even top 10 if you wanted to go that far.
I wouldn't go as far to say top 10, but he's definitely like within 15, 20-ish around there. But he's definitely had a lot of great matches and great moments coming from DX to Evolution, you know, and everybody wants to talk about the Reign of Terror from 02 to 05, you know, running with Evolution on Raw, and all the great matches from The Rock in 98 to, you know, him winning the title in 99 to, you know, the matches with Mick Foley and, you know, so on and so forth. And he did help build, you know, a lot of, you know, stars as well with Batista and Randy Orton and John Cena, you know, later on Daniel Bryan, right? The Shield, right? Even though we sometimes joke about him burying other people too. Don't get, you know, but overall, you know, he's had a great career. He's one of my favorites too. He's like top 15 of my favorite wrestlers of all time. You know, and you know what? Hey, he had a great career. And at the end of the day, his health is more important. And you know what? Thanks for everything.
Yeah. I go back to Triple H. Before that, John Pierre, you know, a student of Killer Kowalski, a wrestler legend, taught him in ring how to wrestle, technical sound. Also, when he came up at WCW, part of the Blue Buds with Lord Regal, William Regal, you know, he was there, and he was, you know, that persona, that Blue Bud, part of the Blue Buds tag team. Then later he was released. He went over to WWE when he made himself as Hunter Hearst Helmsley with the polo and the bowing and the mannerisms. When he also had that was it 12 seconds job to the Ultimate Warrior. I don't know, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
That. When the Warrior came
12.
in, and he just came in like a bat out of hell and just just slammed him and finished him quickly. And Hunter, you know, was supposedly the underrated wrestler of the Clique, and he ended up being actually the boss of the whole. You know, marrying the daughter doesn't help, marrying the daughter of the boss, but also his hard work. He put in a lot of hard work, and not only that, developing and also having an eye for talent with NXT, being part of it, having his hands in the early stage of NXT, finding wrestlers from you know, like I said, we mentioned Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor, you know, and so forth and so forth. He has an eye for wrestling talent as well, also helping developing it and promoting, and also knows how to help them. But what they need to help these wrestlers currently now is cutting promos and becoming, you know, a heel. You know, one thing AEW struck gold is with MJF. He is the best promo cutter besides The Miz right now in professional wrestling. I mean, currently right now, he's one of the two, and they need some type of ring performance of cutting promos. Seth Rollins, I think, is one of the top ones, but right now they're using him too much, I think, and they're watering it out too much. He's being oversaturated, over too used, in my opinion. But they need to help that, because they got, like you said, they got a lot of guys who can't cut a promo. They're very you know, Apollo Crew. Ugh, that guy cannot, and they try to make him a heel, and
the fake Nigerian accent. Oh my god,
he is terrible. You might as well make him Coco Beware.
Oh, no.
Put him on a freaking bird and let him come out with and reincarnated Coco Beware, man, because he is, my goodness.
Hey, he can fly, so makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A high flyer, Coco Beware.
Oh no. But yeah. So Hugh, any thoughts on Triple H?
I just want to say this, regardless of what people think about, you know, the Reign of Terror and all that. At the end of the day, let's say how it is. Regardless of him marrying the boss's daughter like that, you can obviously tell, like, Triple H definitely earned his spot for sure among the greatest of all time. And he, at the end of the day, he had to put in the work too, because obviously it's not like he just got in, married the boss's daughter, and then, you know, silver spoon, you know.
Right.
And he definitely earned it. He was a jobber. He was a mid-carder. He knows everything about the business. As a matter of fact, when NXT first came out, I think everyone kind of agreed he was the perfect guy for it, because he could tell you how to work mid-card. He could tell you how to work the main event scene. He can tell you how to have charisma, promo skills, whatever it may be. And It's just really sad because he didn't really get to plan how he wanted to retire. Because I think for him, it was just, like a matter of like, who do I actually want to retire to, and what is going to be my last match? Because let's be honest, Triple H is in phenomenal shape. He could have wrestled possibly for another 2-3 years at the very least, maybe even 4 or 5, if he didn't, have this condition happen to him. And it's really sad when either athlete doesn't get to plan their own retirement. And I'm just really happy and grateful to have seen him both as a main eventer and as a little bit as Thunderhurst Helmsley. And because I got to watch it with my uncle. Granted, at the time I didn't understand it, so but I just hope everyone appreciates him for what he was and how much he's actually influenced the business, instead of looking at the negative things that happened with him, because some of those things he probably couldn't control. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's wrestling, and if he had to draw the most money or get the most pay at the time because he was a heel, then it was exactly what it was. He was the guy at the time. The next thing we're going to talk about here, and this to me made perfect sense, and it was Shad Gaspard is going to receive the Warrior Award at WrestleMania. And man, this is one of the most emotional stories you will ever hear as a wrestling fan, because he literally went into, I forgot it was a lake or what was it, but he went into somewhere like that to save his child.
Yeah.
And I think he even told the security guards, like, just make sure my child is safe. So he risked his life to save his own child, and on top of that, he died in the process. And all you hear is very positive things about him. Like, I remember after a little bit after he died, I listened to a few JTG interviews and all that, and nothing but kind words about Shad Gaspard. And I'll be honest with you, when they were first debuting, Crime Time was one of my most favorite tag teams to watch. They just had one of the most catchiest theme songs and everything. They, like, literally, yo, 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 yo. Yo, scratch your honies and, at your honey. It's crime time. Brooklyn. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just telling you, I would get hyped. And, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And also, who can remember when they were breaking the limo and all that? Like, and Shad Gaspard, when they tried to break him up, you can just tell it didn't feel natural, because you can tell they were always going to be friends. And you can see that when JTD does interviews. And so, just RIP to Shad Gaspard. And congratulations. And I hope he knows that he died literally being Dad of the Year, pretty much. He died being an amazing human
basically being. Yeah, basically.
Because, I know a lot of parents literally say they'll do that for their kid, but when it comes down to it and you actually do it, you're automatically one of the greatest human beings ever.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I low-key, and there's some discussions about this since the news of Shad Gaspard getting the Warrior Award. Would you guys agree? Should they change the name of the award from the Warrior Award to the Shad Gaspard Award, because of what Shad Gaspard did?
I'll just say this real quick. The only reason why I wouldn't is because and I get it too. A lot of people are like, oh, you might want to change the name just because the Ultimate Warrior wasn't as good as a human being as Shad Gaspard, obviously. But the only reason why I wouldn't is because the Warrior Award, from a business perspective, is just a lot more marketable and it just sounds better. So you have to keep the name the Warrior Award. And on top of that, like, the Ultimate Warrior, when that award got named after him, he had a big ceremony for him and his family that revealed the award. And on top of that, the Ultimate Warrior died doing one of those amazing promos, because literally the day after that, as we all know, he died after that.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as it would be really a beautiful story for that award to be named after him. It doesn't make really sense. It doesn't make much sense to just all of a sudden be like, it's the Shad Gaspard award. The Warrior award is perfect for it. Again, it fits well in Spanish, English, any language, and it just, it's just, there's no need to change it. That's really my simple answer.
I mean, it can work either way, honestly. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what
it can't really, because again, from a business perspective, it's, you got to worry about marketing. I know, I get it. This is.
I don't think the award was not really meant for like a market. Well, I guess putting the whole war, the putting warrior in it, sure. But I think even when Warrior described about this award, I think many years ago, he said that the whole point of this award was, it wasn't so much of a philanthropy kind of thing. It was more so to give an award to those behind the scenes, the people who don't really get the recognition, the long-time employees that worked in the company. And I guess they kind of divert from that to making it more of a philanthropy kind of thing, which, I mean, that's cool. That's fine. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is, I suppose.
But either way, don't change the name. Everything's perfect. I understand the story, why people want to do it, but it just doesn't make sense. I'll be honest with you.
I mean,
they're marketing it, the Warrior, because let's face it, everyone knows, and no disrespect, what that young man did and went in the water in Florida to save his child from drowning and not coming back. Heroic, unselfish, phenomenal job. But his name, it wasn't well known wrestler, but his act is phenomenal. Like Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil to me is one of the best human beings in the WWE roster. Does a lot of great, wonderful things outside of the WWE with Churgin's Network, with Make-A-Wish Foundation and so forth, but not known. Ultimate Warrior. Also, you bring his widow out, and you're showing her support and knowing that history that WWE had with the Ultimate Warrior. Now they named that award. That was in Santa Monica. Okay, my apologize. I thought it was in Florida. I thought he lived in Florida, but all in all, it was a body of ocean. No matter what, the man's life, he passed. The location. At the end of the day, he went and saved. I think they need to keep the name as the Warrior. And I think it'll stay because of the marketing ability. The prestige of the award, it's the same thing. If you were to change the Andre the Giant trophy, you change it to Big John Studd.
Something along those lines. I mean, yeah. I mean, I get what you mean. I mean, this was just kind of a discussion because
And think about this too. Sorry to interrupt, but that would be a big insult to Ultimate Warrior's family too. To just all of a sudden be like, "Yeah, we're gonna switch the award now," even though we had that big ceremony like that. Like, you got to think about things like that too.
I mean, it is what it is, I suppose. I mean, hey, I think we as fans, whether they change the name or not, at the end of the day, I think everybody can agree, like, this was something that should have happened, and we got it, and we're happy, and he deserved, and congratulations to, Shad Gaspard,
Yes.
It is what it is.
He is a phenomenal, may he rest in peace, and may his family always have comfort that they know what he did was in vain. He saved a life, and going forward that. But let me ask you about naming tournaments, and since we're at that topic, or tournaments or awards, what is your thought? And I want to ask you guys your honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
AEW taking advantage on Owen Hart's name, because he never wrestled one moment in AEW. He has nothing to do with the Khan family, whoever, the whole startup of that company, and they're marketing and they're gonna take advantage of a tournament name after him. I mean, come
on. You can go ahead if you want to.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I guess it was one of those things where when this whole thing happened, I think Owen's widow, Martha, had something to do with this, if I'm not mistaken. She didn't want to associate with WWE because of what obviously happened. So I guess the only way to, keep Owens' name, so to speak, and this is just kind of my opinion, alive in terms of in wrestling, she would much rather want to associate with Tony Khan and AEW. And yes, we can agree that we all know that Owen Hart doesn't really have much history. Actually, has no history, not much, no history when it comes to AEW. But then again, if Tony Khan has always been a person that's about history and whatnot, and Owen Hart has also had some success even before WWE as well, and you know them doing a tournament. I mean, it is what it is, I suppose. Could one to say why they're doing a tournament after someone that's never been in that company before? Sure, but at the same time, I think Owen Hart has been in wrestling, not just in WWE, but didn't he also wrestle in Japan as well? And didn't he before that he was wrestling in Canada as well? So it is what it is. So I mean, I'm cool with it.
I'll just say this: at the end of the day, it's wrestling. It's great marketing. It sounds good too. The Heart tournament. So that's the easy answer. At the end of the day, it's just wrestling, and no one fully agrees with his wife's decision on not having anything to do with WWE. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't exactly their fault as to what happened. It's wrestling. Accidents happen. You know what I mean?
I think. Sorry to cut you off, but I think there's more debate in terms of the whole whether they should have continued the show or not. After the accident.
Well, like I said, it's wrestling. They're gonna continue this show. You have to, because once you sell tickets, you're not just gonna refund everyone back. And I get it. You gotta respect, him passing away. But they did the same thing with Eddie. They just continued on. And they say that all the time. Wrestling, the show must go on. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't. It doesn't matter if you suffer injury during a match. It doesn't matter what happened after the fact. It's like the show must go on. I'm sorry, that's just the way wrestling works.
I mean, to be fair, they were doing this on pay-per-view, and you mentioned Eddie, right? When Eddie passed, it was, I believe, his passing happened the day before Raw, I believe, right? It was on a Sunday. When Owens' death happened, it was literally live on TV. Well, actually, they didn't show it on TV. It was during a promo segment, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever. You could have, and there's been people said that, they should have. Some people say they shouldn't have not continued the show. I guess it's a judgment call, I guess, but I don't know. You could have made the argument of not continuing the show because I think fans or people who buying it would have understand. It's like, oh yeah, like there was a huge accident. Just like if, let's say, at a concert or something really terrible, like
it's
tragedy.
unfair to compare a concert to
but it's a live event.
Because let's be honest, wrestlers are traveling all over the world nonstop. With a concert, an artist like if something terrible were to happen, an artist can just either refund your money, then reschedule a concert, and then everything be back to normal. It's hard to do that in wrestling. Because again, you're constantly in the move. Granted, an artist still technically is, but it's easier for them to just be like, okay, you know what? We can reschedule. We could probably end the concert back here, or put it somewhere here where there's a larger, gap for me to rest, something like that. It's like you got to understand that.
Yeah, I again, it's a judgment call, right? Like, it is what it is, I suppose. I mean, there's arguments to be made whether to keep the show or not, but I mean, it is what it is, I suppose.
Again, it's wrestling, and the show must go on no matter what happens. Because again, once you get that money, your job is supposed to be go out there, put on a show for everyone, regardless of what's happening, and try your best.
What? By the way, what do you think?
Listen, when I remember I was hosting a lot of folks over in my home when the pay-per-view happened back in those days, and I had a whole household when Owen Hart fell. I remember we were like, oh wow, we were surprised Owen Hart fall, and we didn't think he passed away. We were like, oh wow, so we thought it was an accident. We didn't see it live because they were, like you said, they were cutting in a promo in Kansas City. I didn't see the severity of the height that he felt and how serious he was. I know they took him out on a stretcher and they stopped, and they were thinking about stopping, but the crowd had, they were chanting, they were clapping, they were behind it, and McMahon said the show goes on. But I remember when they were going through it and they announced that he passed away during the broadcast, they were all stunned, and you could tell that, when Big Show came out of Wrestle later that night, he had tears in his eyes while he wrestled. They knew he passed away backstage, and they closed out the show with heavy hearts. And that was a very, very, especially the Monday Night Raw after that, very impactful, very heavy-hearted when that happened. And, it was very touching. Do I blame Owens' widow for being bothered and irate with the WWE? I don't blame her. I don't know exactly what has gone behind the scenes, if they totally abandoned her and then not helped her financially, or if there's some struggles or whatever the case, because let's face, we don't know what happened there, because maybe she felt Owen Hart was the only Hart member that actually stood with McMahon to be with him when Bret had his issues with Owen, with Vince, and left to WCW and so forth. And he was the one lone Hart that stood there, by Vince's side and kept performing, decided to do the Blue Blazer character. And maybe the wife felt like it was, wow. And it felt like they didn't back up my husband who passed. Who knows? We don't know. We both don't know. And maybe that's why, she's in desperate need of money. And so the rights to that tournament, that Owen Hart tournament to AEW for money. Who knows? Maybe that's what she's, trying to get. He did leave children behind. And, it's different when you have your own money than when you have to rely on Uncle Bret and all of the Hart family money, the wrestling schools. It's different. Everyone is their own person. When you have your own family, you're your own person. You don't rely on your brothers or your siblings' money. And maybe that's what it is. That's why she sold that there. Because I could tell you, I could throw this as well. Dusty Rhodes. Although he was known for WCW, although WWE owns now WCW, but Dusty Rhodes was more main WCW roster fighter. Although he was here on the WWE, he was popular in WWE, never held the title in WWE. Was very popular, was very flamboyant, but his run wasn't that spectacular. You don't associate Dusty Rhodes with the WWE. You're associating with WCW, NWA, AWA, and they have a tournament, Dusty Rhodes Memorial. That's the tag team tournament that's coming up in NXT, or that's going on currently now, and these tournaments and all that stuff there. I just hope that the legacy of those tournaments, if there is a sponsorship, goes to the family of these wrestlers, similar like to the Baseball and Football Hall of Fame. I definitely hope that the families are well taken care of, at least with the sponsors. It's sponsored by Twix, whoever WWE has a sponsorship with for those tournaments. I hope that money and that's another way of revenue drawing for those families that lost their these icons in the ring.
Yeah, well said. And now it's time to do WrestleMania predictions, because WrestleMania, as we all know, happens next Saturday and Sunday, night 1, night 2. And the Hall of Fame, I believe, happens Friday?
It's Friday night. Let me ask a question before we go forward. Who's Eugene?
Eugene is a wrestler that was in WWE. He's his whole entire gimmick was that he was, well, let's just say, special.
Oh. Is that no? That's not Eric Bischoff's. Was that his nephew?
That was in Storyline.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I get it. All right. Sorry about that. I just saw that in the chat. I don't know why they were saying Eugene.
Yeah, he was really over for the time. but yeah. So I'm just gonna go for the matches I see. I'm not gonna go how I think they book it or like that. We're just gonna go down the list and predict who wins, basically. So we got Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. So who do you guys think wins? And
Well, is Becky gonna? I mean, is Bianca Belair gonna actually make the match? I thought she was out with an injury.
I think that's Storyline.
That's Storyline. Okay.
Yeah. Singles match for the Women's Raw Championship.
Yeah. I'm going Bianca to win this one. I'd be actually shocked if Becky Lynch retains after all this time. She actually just retains in the end. That would be freaking crazy. but I'm definitely gonna go with Belair to win. I think this whole thing is leading to her finally getting her moment at Mania, beating Lynch for the title.
And how about you, Kev?
Yeah, I'm taking Bianca Belair because that she pretty much jobbed until gave her belt away to Becky in such a short manner and in a short fashion that, man, you got to put her back over because she's a talented wrestler. She's good on a promo. Although I could care less for her hair and the whipping of her hair, personally, I would like her to just get into more of the technical aspect. I know that's part of her gimmick, her shtick. I don't want to sound too much old manish, but other than that, I think, and I think that's going to be one of the good fights, man. I think that's going to be a good wrestling match between these ladies. I think they're going to bring it, and I think it's going to be like about a pretty long match, but it's going to be not a boring one. It's going to be a really interesting match. But I'm going to say that's going to be a good fight. And I like Bianca Belair winning, and I think a feud is going to come out of that. I think we're going to have interference from somebody who has not been around in the wrestling world, and I think that's going to set up a feud. I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoilers, folks. I think we're going to see Alexa Bliss returning, causing Becky Lynch her title and starting a feud.
Oh, that might happen, but I'm gonna go with Bianca Belair because WWE's been pushing her to the moon, and for her to win at WrestleMania, especially to get a women's title, that would be the ultimate. Like, now you're officially in this like Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair threshold. So yeah, and go ahead, MK.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, Bianca is going to win. I'd actually be surprised if they actually have her win in 26 seconds. That would be poetic if they do that. If they opened the show with this match and they had Bianca beat Becky in like 26 seconds, I think that would be hilarious.
There's no way she's gonna pull a JBL.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next we got Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic Mysterio, which is, by the way, is a dream thing to do. Be on a WrestleMania card on the same match, by the way, with your family versus The Miz and Logan Paul. And I feel like this match, I'll be honest with you, I'm not just saying this because The Miz is on the card. In the match. I'm saying this because I think a lot of people don't expect a lot from Logan Paul, and I feel like once he starts to show, this match has a chance to steal the show at least on night one, because that's apparently when this match is supposed to take place.
Yeah.
And obviously The Miz has proven he can work good with high flyers. So yeah, like this match has the potential to be the best match this night. And I'm picking the Mysterios to go over.
Wow, I actually like him. Okay.
Yeah. You want to go, okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna take Logan Paul and Miz because right now, they're hot right now. That, in the words of Zoolander and Mustafa's from Zoolander. Oh yeah, that Miz and that Logan Paul, they're so hot right now, and I think they're gonna win. I think they'll win the match. They're gonna pin Dominic and.
I would love for Logan Paul's brother to come out and help him. That would really get people to be like, "Whoa!"
That would get mega heat, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention, MK. Do you see an angle with now that Logan Paul and Paul brothers have their promotion? Boxing promotion and their combat sports promoting, they have Amanda Serrano and so forth. Something kind of like of an angle what they're doing with American Top Team and AEW with Scorpio and Paige, and could they interfere and cause and start their feud with the Mysterios? Sorry to interrupt you on that. I just wanted to bring that thought in.
I did not actually expect. I didn't actually think about that idea. I mean, that's something that they could do. Right, but I never actually thought they would do something similar like what they're doing in AEW. I mean, look, if they feel like having Logan Paul being on the show can bring a little bit more eyeballs, which I think it would, because he is, kind of a big star, especially to people my age, I mean, like, why not? And plus, Logan Paul is like has so much heat right now. So, yeah.
All right. Next, we got Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss in a singles match. And I'll be honest with you, I just think Drew McIntyre wins this match.
Wait, real quick. Somebody wants to say hi.
Yeah.
So that's Eugene.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Before we continue, I didn't give my prediction of the Mysterio's Miz and Logan Paul match. Just real quick, and I'm gonna go with the Mysterios on this one. You know, so and I think it would, and I actually think it would be. I think it's actually gonna be a sleeper match of the night. You know, in my opinion.
Yeah, and next match, like I said, Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss, and I said Drew McIntyre wins. That's really all I gotta say.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's amazing how being a jobber for years and can make you now into an unstoppable force, Michael. Yeah.
Oh my god, I feel bad for Drew. You know, I don't hate Baron Corbin. I actually think he's a good wrestler, but
but he's always happy.
Man, I don't care if he's happy. I like when he was actually broke. It was fun.
Like when he was actually.
You know how it's so messed up that most people, even me, would like to see another man be broke. Oh yeah, you being happy now, we don't want to see that. We want you to see you miserable, begging for change. Yeah. But it's true, man. I'd rather see bum-ass Baron Corbin, you know.
Come on, though. Those Hawaiian shirts and all that and the hat, that's fire, man. That's class.
I don't want to see Baron Corbin and Riddick Moss out here, you know, talking about knock jokes, you know. Oh boy.
That's what happens when you're happy. You just feel more cheesy.
Most happy people won't make cringy jokes like that. You know? Most normal people won't make cringy jokes like that. You know? And they're putting this on primetime television on Friday nights on Fox.
Man, you've never been happy.
No, man. I am happy. I'm just not happy enough.
You got happy Corbin, then you got depressed MK.
No. Okay, relax. Okay. This is not Inside Out, that Disney film, okay? I'm happy and I'm depressed and I'm mad. No, come on. But yeah, I'm going with Drew to win here. I think it'd be an okay match, but this kind of screams like a SmackDown main event kind of match, but whatever.
You need to listen to some Pharrell Williams, if you know what I mean, man.
So what's your prediction for this match?
I think Drew wins.
All right.
Next, we got the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs for the SmackDown tag titles, and I'm gonna go with the Usos.
I'm gonna go with the shocking win here. I'm gonna go with Shinsuke and Rick Boogs to win this match.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you. I think was watching what was going on Raw, actually SmackDown on Friday night. Usos, they're the tag team champions. They've been holding the belt for quite some time. I think it's going to be a time where I think the Usos not to be any spoilers, I think they're going to take a break from TV just to get recalibrated, reiterated, and retool. And I think the Usos will drop the belt, take a little time off, vacation or whatever the case is, and come back stronger and better with their persona. I think they dropped this. I think right now Shit Stain is getting a big pop. And also with and with the guitar with Booze, he's playing rip the guitar, and I think they'll win. I think they'll get that pop and go into into SmackDown with a lot of momentum, and they win the belts.
Yeah, I'm going. The reason why I went with the Shinsuke and Boogs is I feel the Usos are kind of past the tag titles at this point. That they're gonna still be in that main event scene with Roman anyways, with or without the belts, and I kind of think it's time for them to just be out of the title picture for a little bit. It's nice to, and I'm a big fan of the Usos, but I think it's time for them to lose the titles. And Rick Boogs and Shinsuke is a good babyface act on SmackDown. People like him, so why not? You know, give him the belts, and I think it can add a little bit more drama going into night 2's WrestleMania main event, with Roman probably getting mad and like, why the hell you lost the titles and all that. So, but anyways, I'm going with Boogs and Nakamura to win the match.
All right. Next we got Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, singles match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And I just say Ronda Rousey's gonna win. Am I wrong to just think that automatically?
No.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, I'd be shocked if Charlotte retains, you know?
Yeah. That's all I was asking. I was like, I mean, I feel like it's just like spoiler. Ronda Rousey wins. Then fireworks. Yeah.
Yeah, Ronda, or people saying on Twitter, Ronda Drowsy. Yo, man. It's so funny. But yeah, I'm going with Ronda to win this match. and she's gonna tap out Charlotte. The crowd's gonna go happy, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe they're just happy the match is over. I don't know. But you know, I'm just gonna go with Ronda wins by submission.
The crowd's gonna clap probably on instinct. They'll be like, "Well, we're at Mania, having a good time."
I'll make one bold prediction. I don't even think this match is even gonna main event WrestleMania night 1. I don't think so. I think because of the bad reception with this feud, I think it's not gonna close out Mania, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's interesting. I you know what, I didn't thought about that. I'm thinking it might, and I'm thinking we're getting a Charlotte, we're getting a Flair WrestleMania moment. I'm not saying she's gonna win the belt. I think Ronda Rousey is gonna make her pass out, similar to Bret Hart did to Stone Cold Steve Austin. McMahon tends to repeat itself in the World Wrestling and Entertainment. Look at me, I'm going back to the WWF days. The World Wrestling Entertainment with McMahon, and I think there's going to be a WrestleMania moment where somewhere, where Charlotte Flair is going to have her own moment, her own signature moment. Either she's going to have like a Stone Cold type of pass out in one of those Darce chokes or rear naked choke, where she's going to, or she's going to put the figure 4 on Rousey, and somehow she's going to reverse where she's just going to pass out in pain and refuse to tap out. So they could keep that storyline going. Well, you beat me because I passed out. I never tapped out. I never gave up. The referee made a judgment call, whatever the case, or controversial. It could be a draw, a double pin, something down the line. It's going to be something that we never think about, like, oh, damn, not a clear-cut winner, but something where we're like, okay, and I think that feud is going to continue, because we're going to be left with, wow, unsettled business. But it's going to be something that's going to be like, holy crap, we didn't expect this. And I'm just going out on the limb there, because I think McMahon's creative juices is going to take over for WrestleMania. This is his baby. This is what made this company shine for and kept them afloat. And I think there's going to be some creative juices going on for, maybe McMahon's last gasp here. And I think why not with a big name and a Flair last name, unless if we don't, I haven't heard any reports that she's bolting for AEW, because we all know her fiance is in AEW at Andrade. But I don't think so. I think she's well versed and well stabled in WWE. She's her own woman and her own flair, and I think that's what's going to happen, in my opinion. Maybe I'm going off a limb, but I've been watching wrestling so long, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and we don't know if this is going to happen on night 1 or night 2, so I want to talk about it before we get to night 2, and that's Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, if it was just going to be a segment, that would be disappointing, but I can also understand why, but it's going to be entertaining either way. Now, if it's just a match, I'm going to be real with you. I think Owens is just going to get squashed in like probably 5 seconds.
I think, like, the way they're presenting this, it is the Kevin Owens show, right? And I think this is gonna close out night 1 to be honest with you, I'm okay with it. Why not close out with a bang with Stone Cold and Kevin Owens? And I actually think this will lead to let's say like a 5-minute match. There's some brawling. Kevin Owens hits Stone Cold with the stunner kick out. Then Stone Cold hits him with a couple of stunners. He wins. Crowd is happy, and that's how you end off night 1 for WrestleMania.
I'm sorry. I just had a funny picture in my head because Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are for like friends, no matter what. Basically, I just had this funny picture where like Kevin Owens is on the floor, like and everything like that, and then Sami Zayn just comes running to the ring. He's like, "Oh my god, I want to have a beer with Stone Cold, please." And Stone Cold's like, "Okay, I guess so." And he hands him a beer and he stuns him too.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see
yeah,
that. I can see that.
yeah. Which is a funny thought.
If it's a match, we all know it's gonna be Stone Cold who wins that fight. No way they'll come in there to have him job and lose to Owens.
Oh yeah, no way. So night 2 then kicks off, and we got Queen Selena and Carmella as the tag team champions versus Sasha Banks, Naomi, and Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan, and Natalya, and Shayna Baszler, and oh my god, a lot of women fighting for the tag titles, a fatal 4-way tag team title. I think this probably goes to maybe. You know what? I don't know who's gonna win, but I'm gonna go with Natalya and Shayna Baszler.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Sasha and Naomi to win this match.
They're my second choice. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with them. I think Naomi is gonna get that big WrestleMania moment, and Sasha is gonna finally win a WrestleMania for once. So I think this is a way to just kind of give them both a Mania moment, in my opinion.
You gotta keep the Sasha streak alive, though. Ding.
Yeah, you gotta go 0 for 7, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
No, but I'm gonna go with Banks and Naomi to win this.
See, I wanted to go with Banks and Naomi, but I'm thinking at Raw, I think Banks and Naomi, that's the new feud after Raw. The Monday of Raw, I think there's going to be a heel turn, and it's probably going to be from Naomi, where we don't expect it. We surprised that, but I'm going with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I think they finally get some gold around there. Back. I know Rhea Ripley was very popular as a women's champion. I think, I'm going with them because I think they're really over with the crowd. They're very, very, very good.
That's my second choice. Yeah, that's my second choice. But yeah.
But now next we have Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Anything goes match, and because of that stipulation, I feel like this is the match where Cody Rhodes debuts, and he costs Sami Zayn the match, and Johnny Knoxville wins. That's my prediction. And hold on. All right, you guys go ahead and talk.
I'm sorry. What?
I don't think that's gonna. I don't know. That's a novelty fight. Sami Zayn is gonna lose. Johnny Knoxville is gonna. Oh no, yeah. I think we know that the celebrity always comes out on top here. Nothing much there. To me, that's for me personally. That's a toilet match. That means I go stretch, go use the bathroom, go get a hot dog, go make some burgers on the grill, and then come back and sit down once that fight is over. Not interested.
I'm gonna. You know what? I was gonna go with. It's kind of weird with this because I was gonna say this is an easy Sami Zayn win, but then again, since he is a heel and he's always doing the whole conspiracy thing, and it is anything goes, and since now it's not for the IC title, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go with Johnny Knoxville on this one, and he's gonna get a lot of help with this. He's gonna bring all the jackass crew coming in. You know,
Wee Man, the little guy. Watch, Wee Man comes in. Too bad House Wargu's not around. He passed away.
They're gonna powerbomb. They're gonna powerbomb Sami Zayn off the stage.
Yeah.
They're gonna off the stage through a cannonball, and he's gonna shoot him out of the freaking arena. Meanwhile, the whole match is basically a stunt. It's like, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and here's my stunt.
Oh my god, Austin Theory is filming it.
I mean, I'm glad that they're doing this like a no DQ match because I thought it made sense. It makes sense that they should do a no DQ match because it's like, come on, Johnny Knoxville is known for extreme stuff. It's a dead giveaway.
And let me ask you this: that's on night number 2.
Yeah, night number 2. Yeah.
Ugh, that's a terrible. That's a on a Sunday.
Well, let's see how you feel about this one.
I'm already throwing up.
We got Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory in a singles match, and now this one's kind of hard to predict, but I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit towards Austin Theory, just because it was cool to see him take selfies over there at WrestleMania and all that.
I'm gonna go with Austin Theory, but Pat McAfee is gonna have a good performance.
I'm tired of Pat McAfee interviewing Aaron Rodgers, his stupid podcast, him on SmackDown.
He was just a kicker.
Yeah, he's such a big deal trying to act, and he's thinking that making think he's like this Hall of Fame NFL player. He's just a kicker, a ham and egger. Now, eventually,
what I mean by that is, what's your big issue with NFL kickers?
Yeah, I hope Austin Theory slaps him the way McMahon smacked him on Raw a couple weeks ago. But McAfee wins.
Okay.
All right. Next we got RK Bro and the Street Profits and Alpha Academy and a triple threat tag match of the Raw tag team titles. I'm probably gonna go with. My gut wants to go with RK Bro. I just have this strange feeling that Daniel Dawkins and Montez Ford might win.
Oh boy, the Street Profits.
I like them though.
I mean, they're an okay tag team from an in-ring standpoint. I can't stand them as I hope
they're
this
gimmick.
Is I hope maybe it's them leading to them turning heel down the road, which I might be interested in that. But I think this match is going to be this match is going to be great. If it's anything that we saw a few weeks ago on Raw with RK Bro, the Alpha Academy, RK Bro, RK Bro, Alpha Academy, and Rollins and KO. If we get the same kind of quality here, man, I think it's going to be great. My prediction, I'm going to go with Alpha Academy on this one. And I'm going to make a prediction here. Alpha Academy wins the title back, and then after the match, you're going to get Randy Orton RKOing Riddle. And then it builds their feud post Mania.
I like that one.
I was going. You stole my thunder with that. I think I'm going with a new tag team champion, but I don't think nothing happens on WrestleMania. I think the next night on Monday Night Raw, when this crowd is crazy and they're gonna bring their, they won't have a promo or segment. What they'll do is they'll have a return match or some sort where they might lose, and all out of nowhere, we're gonna find Riddle's the one who's gonna actually betray Randy Orton. He's gonna get ahead of him because we all know that the Viper always attacks, so he's going to try to be a step ahead of them and beats him. I think he'll turn heel on him.
Right at that, you were never cool enough, bro.
And then he'll take his shoe and hit Randy Orton with it.
Hey bro, I want. This guy's he's like, hey bro, I know you and I are supposed to be friends, but I was learning everything you need. I learned everything from you, and now I'm just gonna turn on you, bro, because that's cool, man. Riddle as a heel is gonna probably be hilarious. It's like, you think I'm stupid? Nah, I'm actually more sadistic than you.
He'll probably be a total jerk. The way like a Shawn Michaels type. When Shawn Michaels first turned heel, he was like, "Oh damn, where the hell that came from?" He's no longer this rocker, jumping up and down, all this with the stupid shoestrings tying around their forearms and all that crap, and he just totally changed his whole persona.
That's not even a heel turn. That's just the day Shawn Michaels buried that guy.
Yeah, but I'm saying that persona, that gimmick where Riddle
That
took his
guy.
place.
I'm sorry. This guy said that guy. Yo, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. But he buried that guy.
Yeah, there's heel turns, and then there's Shawn Michaels when Shawn Michaels did fucking Janetti or whatever.
Yeah, my apologies.
Yay.
Continue.
Yeah, poor Marty. Anyway, next we got Edge versus AJ Styles. I say Styles wins this because I mean, you know, it just feels right, but Edge might. He has a slight chance.
I'm actually gonna go with Edge on this one. I think I think because him turning heel, it'd be kind of odd that he turns heel and all of a sudden he loses. But then again, it's Edge. He's a Hall of Famer, right? To me, it doesn't necessarily matter who wins, in my opinion. But since we're predicting here, I'm gonna go with Edge on this one.
I'm torn because you just turned Edge into a heel, and his first match as a heel, you're gonna make him drop. Then he becomes stale and boring. You want to have some pop with him as a heel.
My logic behind this is that Styles needs some momentum because right now he's kind of like stagnant. So this of beating Edge, it doesn't even have to be, I guess, clean per se. But any victory against Edge should give him that extra firepower going into the Wrestling New Year. We should call it not as New Year, but Wrestling New Year. That's the logic I'm going with. Now Edge could be AJ, but I feel like here's the thing: AJ is just more, I guess you can say, solidified than AJ. If Edge beats AJ, that doesn't really do anything for anyone here because Edge is going to be over regardless because he's a Hall of Famer because he's Edge. And yeah, somewhere out there is probably some hardcore Impact or New Japan fans be like, well, AJ can be over regardless of what too. I'm like, yeah, but let's be real. AJ's simply not Edge. Like, Edge needs this win. I'm sorry, AJ needs this win.
Yeah.
I think I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Could Edge win on not a disqualification, but his wife Beck Phoenix providing him with brass knuckles or whatever the case is? Could he win that way somehow, or would you think that might be a interference by a wrestler or someone that's new to the company, a la someone coming in just to he's it's an appearance by XYZ, someone that we didn't think of, or someone that's gonna move up. Usually someone that moves up from NXT to WWE, it happens on Monday Night Raw, but who knows?
Yeah. So you're picking Edge, Kev?
Yeah, the reason I'm gonna go with Edge, and I don't feel 100% comfortable picking Edge, is that I would like to say AJ Styles, but I'm gonna go with Edge because you turned him heel, you made this whole change, you changed his old introduction and his old look and his gimmick, and you're gonna make him a jobber or lose a couple fights in a row in this feud with AJ. I don't see it. Maybe unless this is the final feud he's gonna have and move on. Maybe I would like to see more. If there's an opportunity for Rollins and AJ, I think there was a lot of stuff undone there on Monday Night Raw. That was a good match, by the way. On Raw, AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. It was a really good fight, back and forth. One of the best I've seen in a while in Raw. I was very impressed, with it. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Frank likes AJ Styles. I kind of want to lean AJ Styles, but for the reason is you're gonna make Edge turn into a heel, and then you're gonna make him lose.
Edge can still win after this, and then pick up the steam again. So
that's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I can see that. Either way, it won't bother me if AJ Styles wins this fight because I don't think he'll bury too much Edge. But I'm just afraid that he don't want him to go in that trajectory of being a jobber.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be probably the sleeper match of night 2 because on paper you're probably thinking, oh, okay, but in reality, no one knows who's going to win this match, and these are two great performers going at it. So this could be a sleeper match for night 2. Next, we got Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the unification both the Universal and the WWE Championship. So this one's gonna be a tough one. Now this is definitely gonna main event night 2, and I honestly don't know who's gonna win. I might just go Roman Reigns, but I don't know, and I'm really excited for this match.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead, because I'm still don't know who's gonna win this fight. I'm like up in the air debating.
Hmm.
I'm only going with Roman because if he beats Brock for both titles, oh my god, that promo on the Raw after Mania. Whew.
I'm gonna go with. You know what? Just for the shock of it, I'm gonna go with Brock Lesnar winning. Because I don't know, I've bet against Brock for so long, and every time I do, for some particular reason, I end up getting wrong. You know,
Watch him
It's
lose
like-
this match now.
you know, it's like at this point, I realize not to bet against Brock Lesnar, but you know, it's good. I'll bet against Brock. I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns. That's my final prediction. I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns becoming the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, I guess. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Roman and winning.
All right. So I was gonna go with I could say Roman Reigns, and we could be a clean sweep. Despite the fact of what he's done, what he's been through, Roman Reigns, his WrestleMania moment, you know, and all that good stuff. Oh man, that's a tough one. I want to say that. Yeah, I think the numbers are stacked against Brock Lesnar to win this fight. And you know what? I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns because Brock, you already had your WrestleMania moment by beating the Undertaker,
The best one, arguably.
right? And
Yeah.
for you to be
Yeah.
undisputed, man, then you really must have something on McMahon. You know, if you do,
Yeah.
you know, so you ain't gonna have this moment again.
Yeah.
I also think that Roman really needs that one big solidified win over Lesnar, because the last time he fought Lesnar and actually got a win, it wasn't clean. I think he really needs a definitive clean win over Lesnar, because he never really got one. Even when he was a babyface, he never really got a clean babyface win, clean win over Lesnar. And I think here, since it is for both titles and it is in the main event, this is their third WrestleMania match. You know, Roman should beat Brock clean, you know, for that title.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, Kev. But yeah, it's like no interference, just straight up, you know, clean victory. Really solidify Roman Reigns, because this is the whole point with Roman at this point. It's like, you know, I think he's gonna hold that title for another several more months. He's gonna reach the 2-year mark, you know, which that's something we haven't seen in a long time. You know, this is like Roman's like the first champion, I think, since Hogan, where he's went through back-to-back WrestleManias within one reign as champion. You know, and that's awesome, and I think he's going to continue doing that. It's his run until probably when he reaches the 2-year mark, and even that, you know, you never know, he might come back next year's WrestleMania and still hold that title. You know, whether he drops one of them, which I think he may just end up dropping the WWE title, you know, and continue on the Universal title run that he's going on right now. But I think he's gonna go on a, you know, continuing run with that title. And to be fair, you don't really see Brock Lesnar coming doing these feuds post WrestleMania, and that's another kind of a giveaway too. But you never know. But I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns here.
All right. What if I tell you a crazy scenario? Just a crazy scenario. Hear me out.
All right, go
Brock
ahead.
Lesnar, Roman Reigns, they're wrestling, and then all of a sudden the Peacemaker comes out.
Imagine if he just came in, he's like, you know what, guys, let's talk this over. Let's talk to some. But no,
and they shake hands, and that's all.
But
And then,
with that promo though, with Roman though, the next night would be fire. Can imagine he could be like, not only did I come in and I beat the beast, but I beat the guy where he beat the streak. You know.
yeah,
Like
and then the dog beats the beast. The top dog destroys the beast. Yeah.
Yeah, and he could be like, now I truly am the top dog because I did the unthinkable. I beat the beast
And
where he beat the streak. That can be on a t-shirt too.
And then who challenges now Roman Reigns if he comes out on next night on Raw? You need a monster pop.
Oh, Cody Rhodes.
You can go with Cody.
Wow,
I wouldn't.
That's something AEW would do. Not
I think Lashley would be a perfect opponent for Roman coming out as WrestleMania. You can go with, let's say AJ wins against Edge, he can go after Roman. We haven't seen that match in a while.
That's a good one.
Right. You can go with Drew McIntyre, but then again, I don't know. I think they might do that. I think they might end up doing that sometime in the fall. Because I heard they're doing a UK pay-per-view sometime in the fall, and I guess they want to save that for later. But I think Lashley and I think AJ would be the perfect two choices for Roman to feud with post WrestleMania. I mean, they can always go back to Seth Rollins. They can go with Cody, but I feel like that's something you can do several months down the road. I wouldn't rush the Cody Rhodes thing, you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying that would get a big pop, especially then, you know. But
or you can have Veer.
Now you notice how I'm being rushed.
God, come on.
Or almost, you know. I
was gonna say almost. You know,
we do need a calm down feud after this. So
I mean, a calm down feud.
Osmos doesn't have the mic skills. God, Lee, his promos.
Oh no, he'd be roasted on the mic. Oh, maybe John Cena returns.
No, we've seen that match.
Peacemaker.
We've seen the match already. I think almost low key needs a mouthpiece.
You can't complain.
I like Omos, but I think he needs a mouthpiece.
I like how his name is close to Omos. Almost made it.
Yeah.
You know who he needs to be there? Be honest with you, Osmos needs to have Paul Heyman as his manager.
Either Paul Heyman, or you know what? I always like Zelina Vega as a manager. And imagine having.
He's up to bigger and better things now.
You could do that, sure. But I feel like let's say if she was still doing the whole manager gimmick, her and Omos would actually be a good pairing, honestly. You know?
She ain't got no time for that, though.
Yeah, she's too busy being the queen and holding the women's tag titles, I guess.
Good gimmick.
But hey,
for her.
it is what it is. But yeah. So I guess that's basically it for the WrestleMania predictions.
Yep. So that means shout out to Dallas, Texas, where the event is going to be for the 2 nights. And I hope all of you enjoyed the show. And goodbye this time. And I hope all of you just rest well and have a good night. And it's time for us to go, because even main eventers need to sleep. Ain't that right?
Yes, sir.
Later, guys.
Adios.
I'm awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen,
My thoughts
just in
get
case
so
you
bad,
live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a
looking
bat, I
at
don't
the
know, my
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
best
boils over
rising
like,
star in
oh God, here
professional
goes, I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked